Hello people, I'm Eugene Grishakov. Today we will summarize the results of our multiplayer project Up or Lava. Yes, we launched it on Steam, we launched it on mobile platforms. Now we're going to calculate expenses, revenues, profits and all that. Let's go. Up or Lava was launched on September 1st. The product has received favorable feedback. To be transparent, many of our subscribers, people we are acquainted with, provided input at the release. Therefore, it is likely that 50% of the reviews are biased, while the remaining are impartial. The game was initially released on Steam before it was launched on mobile devices. However, the mobile release received very little response, resulting in minimal downloads. The main reason for this could be attributed to the complexity of the overall management. We will discuss a more concise summary later, but for now, let's focus on what will be covered in this video. Firstly, we will delve into the expenses incurred during the development of the game, and I will provide you with an introduction to the game itself. Following that, we will analyze the revenue generated and explore the so-called profit. Additionally, we will examine the outcomes of our marketing efforts, what actions were taken, how the budget was allocated, and the results achieved. Lastly, we will conclude by discussing the main takeaways I have gleaned from undertaking similar projects. And that wraps up our discussion. If you are interested, let's get into it. Up or Lava is a multiplayer project, and the whole point of it is actually that there is a large number of players playing with you at the same time. The game has received positive reviews. In my opinion, the game is generally enjoyable. However, it is truly enjoyable when there are at least 20 individuals participating in the race with you simultaneously. Yeah, if it's more than 20, you enjoy the game in general. You run, you push each other into the lava. The object of the game is to get to the top. I mean, there are several cards. Your job is to get to the top the fastest. You push all your opponents, you can throw all the people into the lava, and the trick is you got lava coming up all the time, and you get this. On the one hand, you're in a hurry to get there fastest. On the other hand, the lava's pushing you down. If you fall down, you either hit a platform or you fall into the lava, and that makes you angry. It's fun, it's fun. Really, a lot of funny moments arise. We had a bunch of bloggers streaming us, and it's been pretty good feedback. Again, with a lot of players, it was really cool to watch. It really motivated me a lot. When a streamer starts streaming, he's got 1,000 people online. For example, the Koreans were streaming, Americans were streaming. He's got 1,000 people online. 50 people from these Koreans come in at once, they buy the game, they all start playing together. It's super thrashy, everybody's happy. We had a Russian dude who did a raffle. He'd give prizes to the winner. And it was awesome. It was cool to watch, cool to play, lots of feedback, people were having a blast, but as soon as the stream stops, the people scatter. We're down to 5, 7, 3 people. In the last 24 hours, we've had a peak of 9 people. And during prime time, it's 3 people, 2 people, 1 person, or no one at all. That's a pain, of course. Let's take a look at 7 days. Oh, by the way, the Photon Fusion Room is where our multiplayer parts are located. Here you can easily determine the number of online users and the current load. Our maximum capacity is 50 people online simultaneously. Surprisingly, the cost is quite affordable at only $60 per year. In essence, it offers a standard multiplayer experience. However, if the number of online users increases, the expenses will also rise significantly. In summary, the online capacity is almost at its maximum with around 49 people. It's worthwhile to check out SteamDB for more details. Here to give you an idea of the results. In summary, we reached a maximum of 59 people. 59 people, it was on the stream itself for the last 24 hours, 5 people. 5 people on Steam, yes, but also on cell phones. There might be a few people on there. Those are the results. So that's when we had 9 people in the last 24 hours. That means 5 people were on Steam and 4 people with a cell phone. It's a little small, not enough to enjoy. Therein lies the main problem with multiplayer games. If in our case you only get high when you've got a bunch of people playing with you at the same time. As soon as people scatter, you get bored. Yes, you get bored, you don't really get a high, you get frustrated, and the negative reviews are just related to that. You can read it, it's a little bit so frustrating. Hey folks, I've recorded you 2 exclusive videos on making money in gamemade for beginners. If you want to watch them, the link is in the description. Sign up for the email newsletter I've prepared especially for you. There will be these 2 videos and more cool articles that will be very useful for you to read. The link is in the description. Go ahead and subscribe. On the subject of expenses, let's take a look at what we've come up with. The first 2 expenses are related. Advertising. I thought I'd start with those. $2,200 and $290 is the keymailer service. We're going to take a look at it now. This is the main source of our advertising, our activity, bloggers and so on. It's called Keymailer, the blogger interaction service. We bought pretty much the maximum rate and it was totally worth it. Yes, I'll tell you about it. Next we spent $2,456 on Russian bloggers. Why Russian bloggers? Because they were readily available. Yeah, and we had a hypothesis that it might work in general. Yeah, Russian game, Russian bloggers, Russian community, well, I mean Russian speakers. And thus we thought that we could get additional loyalty, but that didn't happen. The problem with Russian bloggers and Russian players, Russian-speaking players, is that they don't have access to Steam. Yes, a lot of people do not know how to replenish Steam in the current conditions. And in general, the conversion to purchase from Russian-speaking bloggers was very, very low. Yes, there are Koreans too, they buy, they enjoy, yeah, and everything seems to be fine. And everyone else, when they buy, or rather stream, yes, there is 1,000 online, and you can have 10 purchases there. And the cost of that streaming is very, very expensive. Then at $800 we spent on Unity Cloud. Unity Cloud is a server that we pay for. Well, basically like an Amazon server, we pay for the amount of time used. That's what we're going to optimize because, well, it's gotten a little expensive. Even though we only spent $60 on Photon Fusion, on Unity Cloud 800 is expensive, of course, it doesn't pay for itself. Well, development is $3,743. We haven't included here yet, there were still some asset purchases, but I just couldn't find them anymore, so overall I think that's it. That comes to a total of $9,611. That's our cost for the whole game in its entirety, along with the marketing campaign. I would like to mention a few more points. The reason why the development turned out to be so reasonably priced in relative terms is because it was relatively inexpensive for a multiplayer game with a vast amount of content. This is mainly due to the fact that I have a large community and we were able to gather a significant number of individuals who had a stake in the game. Here, even those without any prior experience could gain development experience. We had a skilled senior developer whom we paired up with inexperienced individuals, allowing them to make valuable contributions. In exchange for their contributions, they gained experience and a share in the project. As a result, when we launched the project, the majority of our budget had already been allocated towards finalizing the game and producing new content. That's it. I mean, I guess if we released the game and stopped right away, the cost would be less. Yeah, and this way it's almost $10,000, well, like 9,600, yeah. Well, I suppose if we include a few additional things in there as well, well, given that's 10, it's safe to assume that we spent around 10,000. For the experiment as a whole, this budget is normal. Yes, it was probably unrealistic to fit in less. At the same time, for such a budget, we still got a lot of interesting, yes, and funny results. I mean, interesting, cool experiences. Now let's see what we got with the money. We'll look at the money right in Steam. Yeah, this is Steam's affiliate account. I probably can't show everything in Steam. There are some restrictions there, but in general, whatever. Look, $3,100 is the total revenue of the project, $3,100. Yes, I remind you that we still have the game on mobile, but there is no monetization there. We thought that if it goes well, then we will add some kind of game pass and so on. So this is all the revenue that the game generated. That's it. But the important point is that lifetime Steam revenue, that is the growth minus the refund, is $1,600. So the main problem with this game is that it sold pretty well. Yeah, it sold pretty well overall, actually. I mean, we got 300, that's it. But the problem is, because of the very low online, we're getting a very high percentage of returns. Yeah, that's... Well, I mean, the player bought. Yeah, like we had 2 more buys yesterday. Dudes bought, got in, started playing, came in, and there's nobody there. Yeah, you're the only one running the cards. Well, it's not much fun, is it? There's a promise of online and you're running around alone and people end up making a return. If you compare it to the other game there, Bunker, the refunds are crazy. Yeah, 15% there, 40% here. I mean, it's a completely abnormal percentage of refunds due to the fact that players can't get, well, like the promised experience that we show in the trailer. Yeah, there's a bunch of players out there pushing each other around, having fun. Yeah, here you're alone running around in scorched earth and it's really sad. Here, from this amount of 1,600, you have to take away the Steam commission. I mean, you gotta subtract 480 bucks. That is the total we earned. We earned 480 bucks, must subtract, well, that is 500. In short, yes, $1,100. Expenses 10,000, income $1,100. So we recouped, God willing, 11% of the revenues, and that certainly hurts. It certainly hurts. Now we're going to go over that some more. That's something else to look at a little bit. Something else to look at. There were a total of 1,400 unique installations. Here, I'll remind you that we gave out a lot of keys. Total average time of 27 minutes of play. Also very low. Very low. Well, that's really low. Wishlists 1,900. I mean, we'll still monetize the game through sales, so maybe something from here will still work. But still, it's all looking pretty bleak. Okay, let's take a look at it. Here we go. If we look at the revenue per unit, yes, we can see that a total of 1,387 PC units, yes, and literally 17 on IAC. With the IAC too, of course, we got a lot of hassle. I'm not sure it's even worth bothering with Mac. It's a very small fraction of the revenue and a lot of pain with Mac tests in general. The Mac version is still unstable and very sad. Now look at the breakdown. 500 units is units bought in Russia. That is 500 units. Korea 124, United States, Turkey, Brazil, Ukraine, Kazakhstan, Spain, France, United Kingdom. Well, what conclusions can we draw here? Korea came in through streamers. Yes, that is a credit entirely to the key mailers. United States, I think it's the organics of the system, plus we have streamers. And Russia, it's streamers plus my community. That's kind of it. Well, I don't know what other conclusions can be drawn here. In general, the game, of course, has failed miserably and there is nothing we can do about it. Let's move on. Let's now talk about what kind of advertising campaign was made. As I told you, the main thing that worked was the key mailer. Look, here we have a key mailer. It looks like this. It's a system for interacting with bloggers. There's really nothing super clever here. You upload your keys to this section here, and then you post the company. You get all kinds of sub-clicks. Right now, for example, we have 1 requester left here, and you can see the statistics of what kind of dude responded to you. Well, in this case, it's some dude who's not very popular. You can look at him. Let's see. Here he is. He's got 4,330 subscribers. He's got some views. You can go to his channel and take a look. It's a sad channel, but in general, I was culling bloggers for the first while. After I got bored, there was a lot, almost 2,000 responses. I just started giving keys to everybody. So you click OK, you have a standard message, and then a dude in our base got a key. He is required to stream or post a video of your game. However, this is not the case for everyone, but how many actually do? It is estimated that around 45% of all the bloggers you provide keys to will create videos. So, moving on. What are the results here? So we paid $2,300, and what did we get? 115 YouTube videos, 394 Twitch streams, 25 TikTok videos, 2 Facebook posts. There was a press release, and there were straight reviews of the article with a grade in there too. It was fun, and that was it. Yeah, that's it. We bought pretty much the maximum rate, and overall I think it was totally worth it. That is, if the quality of the game would have been higher, if the game would have been more buzzed, more knocked up, it would have paid off for sure. In this case, I think that it was our only opportunity to make the project a success. It is to push it at the start in such a way as to try to start this avalanche-like engine. So we do the maximum push, bloggers start to play, other people see that it's fun, and they start streaming the game too, but we had it all running. Yes, there were even streamers who looked at other streamers and streamed this game, but in the end it was still so slowly fading, so it didn't have that avalanche effect. But overall, we did the right thing. Yes, I believe that the money for Keymailer was definitely not wasted. If you launch a game, it is interesting enough, multiplayer, or there are just some colorful and funny elements, I'm sure Keymailer will save you. Next, here's the thing about reviews. Let's run some reviews there. Here you can see how popular a popular publication has reviewed you. It is clear that these are not the top EGMs or something else, but here are some 255,000, for example, views. Let's see. Here, 255,000 views. That's some German channel. You can see that they put up some GIFs. They even gave it some kind of rating, 71% for our game. I think that's not a bad rating. Here's another one. I mean, some sites are doing some reviews. They have SEO traffic of some sort. And overall, that's not bad either. But these are the reviews right here. I would say it's more of a little plus to this Keymailer. Clearly, if you want to get a normal rating on Metacritic, you need to either work with PR people or send press releases to all the normal things yourself and pound reviewers in private. Well, in short, Keymailer is no help here. Keymailer just so for the general number, for some first reviews will help. On YouTube, yes, if you type in up or lava, then in principle you will find a decent number of videos. Some of them are ours. Yes, but there are a lot of bloggers. Here's our blogger. Yes, we also paid him there. A lot of bloggers are free. Well, this one, for example, is from Keymailer. Here, 4,000 views. That's not bad. Here, 109. This game is terrible. Here's one that's probably an Indian. Yeah, 12,000 views isn't bad either. 305 hits. 173. 9,500 stint. That's a paid blogger. Yeah, I mean overall the reviews are there. This is my stream, by the way. There are reviews on YouTube, not to say that it was a breakup of some kind, but nevertheless there are videos. Here, if we are talking about Twitch, yes, here we have a game being created inside Twitch. If a game is popular and it pops up regularly, it gets a cover. I was right, really looking forward to when we got it. It showed up. We got 30 subscribers. Yes, the top games, it is clear there are thousands of subscribers. Nobody streams anymore. We used to have someone streaming the game all the time. Here are the vids from last month. I mean, we were still streaming in November. That's basically the most popular ones. Of course, they were last month, right at the beginning. 1 view, 0 views. That's the kind of thing. The most popular ones are gone, unfortunately. There were some cool clips. Yeah, I'll show you some. There were some really funny moments. This is probably the funniest streamer I've ever seen. It's the Koreans who don't save their reviews. And here's Walkerman. He had some funny vids. Yeah, he had some meme moments. At one point he was riding on a train. It was really funny. You're gonna see it now. One time he got to the end, he was the leader, and just before the finish line he fell into the lava, and his reaction is just priceless. That is actually for such moments the game was created. Well, and in general it seems to me it gave a good experience. Well, in such moments really, when you watch someone playing, when you see how he is getting high, laughing, they're streaming together and they're laughing at each other and they're teasing each other, and it's really cool. It's really cool, and in those moments I wanted to run and develop the game and make updates. The game is on the site from Twitch. It's a kind of Metacritic. Well, in short, there's nothing to tell. basically, I guess that's it. Yeah, we've had 395 streams in total. Did it give us anything? Well, yes. I mean, in general, yes, it gave us some activity, it gave us downloads, it gave us purchases. If it wasn't for the returns, it wouldn't be so bad in general. Next, with the money earned from the very start, we decided to release updates. We published roadmap in Russian, in English, and made a couple of updates, new maps, new mechanics. We had this thing where we make one map with one new mechanic. We added a winch, lasers, a cool map in the form of slot machines we did. That is, in general, I think that the idea was not bad, but the level of production, of course, it was a little weird. Well, I mean, it's not awesome, W. That is the game, in fact. It is basically only up, combined with the mechanics of parkour, and combined with, I forgot what it is called, where funny little people run, each other spinning, and as a battle royale such about little people. So in general, the idea was not bad, but probably we did not pull the level of production. We did not make super beautiful high quality, but then we would not have laid here thousands of dollars. We would have had to allocate $100, we would have had to hire a team, we would have had to do very high quality, very cool, very long. We would have been doing it for a year, and here was the idea of having time to do it while the niche OnlyUp was alive. OnlyUp is dead here, and overall I think we missed the mark. Yes, missed and made it worse than it needed to be to make it catch on. But again, overall the game was received positively. Yeah, I wouldn't say I got a lot of negativity. People wrote, people there and on the mail constantly knocking, reviewers constantly write, but financial some kind of clout, of course it did not give. That is, you have to do either great or nothing. Here's an OnlyUp we have on cell phones. There is nothing to show here at all. 3 colleagues download. Yes, there are literally, well, on average, in short, 11 people a day. It's nothing, it's absolutely nothing. The game for mobiles is quite heavy, that is, it is really difficult to pass the maps there because it is parkour, quite hardcore parkour, and on the phone, of course, it is much more difficult to do all this. So even though we did port it, it didn't do anything for us. Yeah. Even though the visuals are kind of cool, yeah, the trailer is cool, everything looks cool, but it did absolutely nothing. But again, because it's too heavy for online, well, for mobile to be exact. What conclusions can we draw from this? Yeah, let's get to the conclusions, I guess. If you still have any questions, write me, I'll be happy to answer them. We have gone over the expenditures. Now let's move on to the conclusions. What conclusions did I draw? It's clear that it was an experiment, and, well, I generally assess it as positive. That is, for us to lose $9,000 is not very critical. Yes, very cool that we got this experience, but what are the conclusions? 1. If you're making a multiplayer game, you shouldn't make session multiplayer games. What exactly doesn't need to be done? You don't want to make a game where a remote server goes up on a button and a bunch of players have to join it at the same time. That's very difficult to implement, and it's hard to get enough online to get all the people on that server. You have to have these people online all the time so you can run server after server and have people there. What kind of multiplayer games should be made? These are games like, for example, Rocked or, I don't know, Stardew Valley. When someone creates a server and you can come to this server and together you can run there, play with your friend there, develop some farm, do some stuff, and there is a small number of players in this multiplayer. I mean, in general, it's not worth making a game, at least not with such budgets where you need a huge number of players to run on your own separate dedicated server. Yes, it's very difficult and it's technically difficult to implement. There are a lot of difficulties, bugs and so on. And plus, I say, you just need a really high online. There are about 1,000 people. And when we launched, I realized that yes, but I wanted to try. I thought, what if it works? It didn't. Next. A player should enjoy even a small online presence in your game. In fact, our whole game was built around a large online. So no online, no chip. And if you start running around the map alone, you get bored very, very quickly. If they wanted to run around alone, they went on lip. If they wanted to play with a crowd, yes, they came to us, but they didn't get that crowd. And so we kind of got ourselves, we shot ourselves, yeah, we made life worse for ourselves and broke the whole idea. I mean, if you're making a multiplayer game, you need to make it so that even 1 or 2 people online can get pleasure, What these games can be, basically, I've already told you. Yeah, something with Cardioelli, you're already farming and you're having more fun with a friend. Yeah, I don't know, you can give examples on your own. Even Counter-Strike, like 5x5, you can put together a game. But basically Counter-Strike is fun to run one-on-one. Yeah, we used to go to the club with a friend there a lot, yeah, and play one-on-one. Even, I don't know, in LoL, yeah, in League of Legends there are maps, they're 3x3. Also 3x3, 6 online for multiplayer, that's okay, you can do that. But 50 or 60 people online on a dedicated server, yes, which can there, well, here's another trick, a big joint of up or lava, that you create a dedicated server and you have a minute, that is, people have a minute to join the game. If you don't join at once, that's it, the game has started, there's no point in joining further, people have already run away. Even if you join, you will be lagging behind, then the lava rises and you can't join. In short, there's a very small gap to get those 20 people. And because of that, people were always, first of all, waiting for the game to start for quite a long time. And secondly, again, not enough players were recruited. And it was very, very sad, of course. Next, need the production of a super high level. If you're making a game, it has to be a high level game. Like, for example, I don't know if it's being tested right now or not. Finals, yeah, here's a recent game that was being tested. So, I mean, you need production level minimum of PUBG, yeah, Apex Legends level. I mean, if you're making a multiplayer game, let you have little content, but the content has to look great. That's the first one. Or the second option is to do unusual visuals. For example, a tear-down game, the visuals are not, for example, space, yes, but it's this pixelization, or rather voxelization. It's a cool thing. I mean, the whole map consists of voxels, it's all destructible. It's still high-level production, but it's not as super complicated as, for example, it was in Apex Legends. Yes, Apex Legends is an AA game, but this game is of high quality, and its thing is just this voxelization. So you either have to choose an unusual visual style, or you have to make it awesome. We tried realism, and of course we didn't have enough budget power to make it awesome. Or Atomic Heart. Yeah, there's Atomic Heart, awesome visuals. That level of game, probably our game. If it was that level, it would be a hit. I mean, the effect of the streams would be completely different than what we had. Fourth, gameplay should be suitable for all platforms. So again, the experiment was that we put the game on different platforms. We're still porting our TMLV, we'll put it out. There's a chance that the game will take off on our TMLV and be online enough to develop it later. But that will be later. Yes, if something happens, I'll make another video about the reincarnation of Lava Pula, but let's be honest, it probably won't happen. Why? Because our gameplay in general is not suited for mobiles and all these other platforms. When you have a mouse, when you have a keyboard, you control your character as much as possible and you can do complicated somersaults. And if we're talking about mobiles, there you have very limited control sensitivity. Because of this, Lava Pulava is just uncomfortable to play. It's very difficult to pass difficult places in the game. And so you don't get the exp that the enemies get, and plus you always lose relative to them. What multiplayer games are there that run on all platforms where people get all the same cool XP? This right here, for example, is the game that's winning all the tops right now. Honkai, Star Rail, for example, or Create L in Genshin Impact. It's a multiplayer game where you play everything. Whatever device you're playing from, PC, cell phone. It's a turn-based RPG, for example, where you collect heroes you fight. Well, or Genshin Impact. You all know Genshin Impact. It's an awesome game. It's basically Zelda with anime girls. Also, you're in any, everywhere you go, you're gonna get the normal experience. You know, you run around the map, either from your phone, iPad or PC. It doesn't really matter here, it's got fairly simple controls. It's just that the graphics are better on the PC, a little worse on the phone, but still the experience will be pretty much the same everywhere. And in our game this has not been achieved. That is, if you want to release the game everywhere and have a high online presence, you need to make the game play well everywhere. That's why we will launch HTML5, we'll see. There is a small chance that the game will still fly, but let's be objective again. Most likely we've already closed the project, and if only we see that we earn $1,000 or $2 a month, only then we will come back. In fact, how do we get this project back? We start HTML5, there will be online per day on average at least 30 to 40 people constantly. Then there will be online in Steam because the servers are the same, and then the number of returns will go down, and then the game can get knocked up. But honestly, the chances are not much. Next, probably the last conclusion I want to make: if you make a multiplayer game, you should run it as a free game. In Steam, it should be sold for free without any money. In our country, the game costs €5 or $5 if you're abroad. In Russia, it costs 249 rubles, literally $2.50. That's expensive for a multiplayer game. That is, for an unknown multiplayer game. Why would a free game still be awesome? Here, for example, is streaming 1,000 online. In general, the free game is not difficult to install. You click one button in Steam, you have installed the game, that's it. You go in, play. So, for example, 100 people, 1,000 people online, and you can run in this game with your blogger. I think the online would be at the third moment. Like, there's 1,000 people watching the stream, and 200 or 300 of them could log into the game and run together. That would be an awesome experience. In fact, I was advised by someone who advises me. Yes, he advised me to make it free, but after talking to the team, we decided that we don't have any way to monetize the game. We had quite little content at the start. I mean, literally there were about 6 maps, I guess. So we literally had 30, 40 an hour, 2 hours maximum to play, and we realized that people would just play and leave, and here they'll pay, they'll play, but they'll still leave. So this was the only way, the only chance for us to collect some revenue so that we could develop the game further. That, I think, was a mistake. I mean, further, if you make a game, the same Genshin Impact, it's free on all platforms, and through internal in-app monetization you make money. You will say, but there is BattleBeat. Yes, but there is some Counter-Strike or Dota that costs money. There really is. Oh, Fall Guys, by the way, remember I gave you an example of a game with human beings. Fall Guys, for example, they were the first of their kind. They launched... Oh, Stumble Guys, they're called Stumble Guys now. They launched as a pay-to-play game, raised revenue, and after that they became free-to-play. Yeah, and so basically they're in the game all the time. Well, that's kind of cool. That's kind of what we wanted to get to. I mean, long story short, if you have a game that's not super cheerful, not super colorful, and you're an unknown studio, then you need to make a free multiplayer game. Session, and only after the launch to monetize, in short, with some battle passes, something like that. It would have taken us another month to add the battle pass, yes, so we decided to take the risk after all. It was a mistake. So what we ended up getting, on the one hand, a cool experience. Yes, a cool experience, but on the one hand, a disappointing financial result. If you want to do something like that, consider our experience. Yes, launch. I guess another difficulty with multiplayer projects is that you have a hard time launching for activity bloggers before release. I mean, how does it usually go? You have a release on December 1st, for example. Before the 1st of December, you start letting bloggers start releasing videos a week in advance, and thus warming up interest in this game. But in our case, it was unrealistic to do that, although people wrote to me in the comments we should have done the same thing. But how do you attract bloggers? They're going to come into your game, they're going to start playing by themselves. I mean, one person playing, and it's going to be a disappointing experience. I mean, no subscribers who are online watching the game, they wouldn't be able to play the game, and the experience would end up being terrible. Yeah, the bloggers would all get frustrated, it would totally suck. So the only option was to launch and fire all the guns and hope that it would slowly gain some activity. It didn't, but overall, yeah, that's another challenge that I honestly don't know how to do. Here's Finals, for example. Yeah, they had a huge budget, but overall it's from the creators of Apex Legends, as far as I know. Yeah, full destructibility, very awesome production. They can afford to do a huge advertising campaign and do a free beta test on Steam. Yeah, where they got 250,000 players online. they can afford it, but if you're a small, no-income studio, you need to be rocking out post-release already. Well, there's no other way. Well, let's call it a day. Yeah, it's been an interesting experience. We don't plan to continue making these kinds of session-based multiplayer projects on different platforms right now. We're going to continue make projects on mobile. We continue to buy projects. We launched a fund, we attracted investors, and we continue to buy mobile projects, and we will port new projects to Steam, to Nintendo Switch, and to Xbox. Yes, we have a new platform on Xbox now. Overall, I think we've done pretty well for ourselves on Steam. Yes, we have some small audience there. We just haven't found our niche yet. We keep looking, and we're not afraid to shit ourselves. So if you still have any questions, write in the comments and I'll say goodbye. With you was Grishakov, guys. Bye bye. All experiments, don't be afraid to try. We're not afraid. Even if we shit ourselves, we still don't piss off.